All right, all right, all right. We are back here in the Rock Cave at Song of the Day after a nice reset in upstate New York. How y'all doing today? It's a rainy day here in Connecticut. So, yeah, I had to skip my walk this morning. Although I am recording a little late for this morning. We're going to get to it right now. I had a different song of the day for today. And then I did some reading and went through my notes and everything and realized I had been remiss in not addressing this album. So we are going to cut to this one now. But let's do a little bit of on this day in history, in rock and roll history. What happened on this day? 1965, The Who recorded My Generation, which would go to number 2 in the UK. Love that song. A few different versions of that song, right? I think there's a couple of different versions of that song out there, some demos and stuff like that, but what a great song and what an iconic song for them, right? 1973, the number 1 album for 4 weeks in all the land is Goat's Head Soup from the Rolling Stones. 1974, Ed Sullivan dies. 1979, the number 1 song in all the land is Michael Jackson, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. That's a great song right there. That one never gets old. Also in 1979, number 1 album in the UK is Regatta de Blanc from The Police. 1984, the number 1 song in the land is I Just Called to Say I Love You, Stevie Wonder. That's on my list of songs I don't need to hear the rest of my life, probably. Jack and Diane made that list. Also, Starships, We Built This City. Maybe I'll do a top 10 of songs I've never need to hear again. I think Wind Beneath My Wings is on that list too. 1990, number 1 in all the land, George Michael, Praying for Time. I love that song. That song has made it pretty much on all of my playlists as far as like just when I make a general playlist, because I just really do love that song. And it's 30 years old this week, but that's a great song. If you haven't heard Praying for Time in a while, give that one a listen. I'm sure I'll mention it when we get to a George Michael edition of Song of the Day. Birthdays today, Paul Simon is 79 years old. And Sammy Hagar. We did a lot of information about Van Halen and Sammy Hagar last week, right? So David Lee Roth had a birthday, and now Sammy Hagar has a birthday, and he is 73. So what are we talking about today? We are talking about the 40th anniversary of the Police. The Police third record, Zenyatta Mondatta. This is their third album. It's the 40th anniversary of this record, and this is, I mean, if you just take away Synchronicity, which is like a greatest hits, which is, I mean, that's gold standard right there, but this is my favorite Police album other than Synchronicity. They're on their third album, right? So what do they say? They put out their first 2 records, which have done quite well. They pretty much self-financed a lot of their tours and everything. They're starting to gain up a lot of speed. And Sting says, you know what? We've kind of worn out the white blonde reggae thing. We need to do some other stuff because we can only do that for so long. They beat the sophomore slump, but they now have a third record, and there's a lot of pressure on them to put out hits. As they tell the story, they say, you know, the record business is kind of struggling a little bit. A&M Records in the United States lays off like almost 200 people that they knew. And they were really under a lot of scrutiny and pressure to churn out something good. But add to that they had just finished or were just finishing an American tour, their first really big American tour. And Stuart Copeland's brother Miles, remember we've covered him and his label IRS Records. He had only booked them a 4-week stint vacation kind of space in between before heading out on tour again. So they had 4 weeks to record a record, which added to the pressure. Sting wrote most of the material on here, and the band, as bands do, argued a lot and weren't really getting along a lot during these sessions because of all the stress and the pressure. So obviously the record turned out great, but it wasn't necessarily a great time for them as far as recording is concerned. A lot of great songs on here. There were only I think 2 singles off this record, wasn't it? I think there should have been 4, but it's a great record. And who doesn't remember Don't Stand So Close to Me when that came out and was a hit? Even before the music video, that was just a massive song, right? So that lingers to this day. I could do without the Don't Stand So Close to Me '86 remix that they put out on that greatest hits. We can add that to the list of my songs I don't need to ever hear again as well. I don't know what they were thinking with that one. But Don't Stand So Close to Me, great song. I mean, what's not to like about that song, right? What else we got on this record, though? We got Driven to Tears. I don't know that was that a hit? I don't remember now. Anyway, but obviously played on the radio all the time, and that's a great song. When the World is Running Down, awesome song. Canary in a Coal Mine, another great song. Voices Inside My Head, Bombs Away, da-do-do-do, da-da-da-da. That song, I've had a love-hate relationship with that song. I'm fine with it now, but I've gone through times where I was like, what is going on here? Behind My Camel, a instrumental that they fought tooth and nail for including, because Sting was totally dead set against it. This was just all not him. He didn't even play on it. And they argued about whether it should be included or not, and he hated it. He said he found the cassette or the recording or something of it, and he buried it in the backyard. He just really did hate that song. And it ended up getting nominated for an instrumental Grammy. How about that? Add insult to injury. Man in a Suitcase, another great song. Shadows in the Rain, and The Other Way of Stopping. This is a great record. The record did get nominated for 2 total Grammys. I think Don't Stand So Close to Me actually won a Grammy. And so, obviously, on the strength of this record, they were really cemented as a band that was a force to be reckoned with. Again, I really do like this record. Trying to come up with a song of the day is rough for this one, because the song that I would be most attracted to would be When the World is Running Down. I really think that that's an awesome song. I mean, Don't Stand So Close to Me is the gold standard for this record. But you know what? I'm going to do When the World is Running Down, because it seems appropriate in today's day and age and what's going on around the globe. When the world is running down, you do the best with what's still around. So that's your motivational speech for today. We're at 7.5 minutes. We're going to cut it now. Enjoy your day. It is Tuesday. We got another great week coming up. Have a good one. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.